Chapter 5. Atomic Science. The atom is in itself a miniature universe. All of the mechanical processes that are performed within the deepness of the atom are also performed within our solar system. Atomic investigations have verified that in the exterior regions of the atom, there exists a cloud of electrons with an authentic negative electric charge, which when disassociated from the atom's agglomerate, or from these atoms, it agglomerates in dense floods in order to form all of the electric currents. The atom has been abundantly investigated and its marvels are astonishing. The nucleus positively charged in the vital center of this small spherical world. As the planets gravitate around the sun, likewise the electrons gravitate around that mysterious nucleus. Without a doubt, the atomic nucleus possesses a considerable electric charge, which the nucleus utilizes in order to retain under its domain the whole cortege of peripheral electrons, yet at a respectable distance. The nucleus is the same heart of the atom, and it is already foreseen that within that basic, fundamental nuclear corpuscle, a vital mechanism must exist that is still up for the discussion and further investigation. The whole reason for the atom, the miniature universe, is found within its nucleus. The whole inheritance of the atom and its potential resides precisely in its nucleus. The atom can explode, or on the contrary, it can be changed into other types of atoms, thanks to this central corpuscle. At this moment, physicists admit two fundamental constituents of the nucleus: the proton and the neutron. By all means, it is absolutely clear that the proton is the hydrogen's basic nucleus. In other words, it is the most central part of the hydrogen, which is the lightest and simplest of all known elements. The scientist Prout admitted in his time that the different elements of nature are condensations formed by the most simple of elements, hydrogen. There exist 12 fundamental types of hydrogen. They correspond to 12 categories of matter that are contained in the universe from the absolute down to the infernal worlds. The infernal worlds are symbolized in the Divine Comedy by Dante. They are situated within the submerged mineral kingdom in the interior of the earth. It is also interesting to study the second constituent of the atomic nucleus. This is the neutron that has the same weight of the proton. In other words, it has the same weight of the nucleus of the hydrogen. Nonetheless, until now, it differs from all of the particles known by the conventional science. It is indeed intriguing that it has no electrical charge, since it is a neutral corpuscle. This is why this is called a neutron. We, the Gnostics, after having discovered the three aspects of electric energy, and after having classified those three modes of electricity with the following terms: positive, negative, and neutral, or active, receptive, and again, neutral, have considered the neutron as a corpuscle with neutral electrical charge. Our statement about the neutron charged with electricity in a neutral and static state might not appear very clear for modern scientists, but sooner or later they will have to prove it. One of the greatest enigmas for modern atomic science is the enigma of the electrons. If the intimate mechanism of the atomic nucleus is still unknown, much less is the intimate mechanism of the electron known. There exist positive and negative electrons. This is no longer a secret for scientists. Nevertheless, they do not know anything about the intimate mechanism of the electron. The intellectual animal, mistakenly called a human being, has achieved the fractioning of the atom in order to liberate energy. Yet, fortunately, they still do not know the internal mechanism of the electron within which resides tremendous power. It is estimated that each time a positive electron is absorbed while penetrating platinum, it produces 2 photons of 0.5 billion volts each. This corresponds to a production of 1 million volts of photonic energy per positive electron. The active element of the sun is hydrogen, and indeed, this is very interesting because the atom of the hydrogen, with a single electron rotating around a nucleus, is found at the border between the matter in an electronic state and the matter in a molecular state. When hydrogen combines with denser matter and other matter, atoms combine with atoms for the construction of molecules. The outcome of a superior state of superior refraction of molecules, of hydrogen releases free electrons or matter in an electronic state, light, magnetic waves, etc. By making use of the coveted uranium, modem, or I think it means they meant to write modern. Modern scientists have separated one electron from one atom whose density is not natural, which is almost pathologic. They have had an indisputable success. Thus, it is logical to state that in this way they have liberated an incomparable superior power of atomic energy that until now the humankind could not have developed, or rather conceived. Thereafter, by combining atoms of hydrogen, the scientists currently managed to form atoms of themselves. Through this process, they thus produced frightful energy of practical unlisted power, or unlimited power. Undoubtedly, the atomic bomb is millions of times more terrible than dynamite. However, it is less horrific than the hydrogen bomb. Prostitution of solar energy exists in the hydrogen bomb. This is the worst quality of black magic, whose outcome will be total devastation and the decline and lifelessness of all living material on a totally new scale. If a hydrogen bomb were to explode in the superior regions of the atmosphere, where the deposit of pure hydrogen is found, then the whole planet Earth would be burned by living fire and every creature would perish, as would every other form of life. By wanting to use atomic energy, by intending to discover the entire science of the transmutation of atoms, or the way and manner in which one atom is changed into another, the intellectual animal longs to enter into the world where matter has all possibilities. However, he wants to enter through a false door. The intellectual animal wants to use the scientific laws without any code of ethics, without having an awakened consciousness, without having reached true spirituality. We, the Gnostics, have legitimate procedures in order to enter into the mysterious world where matter has infinite possibilities, into those atomic, molecular, and electronic regions where all of the processes of universal life are gestated. At this present moment, atomic radiation has altered the superior layer of the terrestrial atmosphere. If atomic explosions continue, soon the atmosphere will not be able to filter and analyze the solar rays, analyze the solar rays in order to transform them into light and heat. Thus, we will see the sun as black as a sackcloth of hair. Earthquakes will intensify as long as the superior layer of the atmosphere continues to be altered due to atomic explosions. Because on our planet Earth, this atomic layer is the provider of life. The air that we breathe and the water that we drink is already charged with atomic radiation. And instead of being improved, the situation will only go from bad to worse. Therefore, when the atomic war explodes, we will see Dantesque scenes everywhere. People will lose their minds due to the abuse of atomic energy, and hospitals will be filled with grief, and there will be no relief. From under the surface of the earth, atomic explosions are liberating. Under the surface of the earth, atomic explosions are liberating from the infernal worlds, the submerged mineral element, infernal matters, abysmal atoms such as the following: Neptunium 93, Plutonium 94, Americium 95, and Curium 96. The outcome of this blasphemy is already before our eyes. A trio of matter, energy, and consciousness exists inside every atom. Therefore, diabolic consciousness or a terribly malignant intelligence exists within these types of already mentioned abysmal atoms. These atomic demons are already poisoning the weak minds of people. This is why life in the great cities has become frightfully criminal, monstrous, horrible, chilling, and terribly malignant. Soon, everywhere in our neighborhoods and streets, we will hear wailing, howling, whistles, neighs, squeaks, bellows, gaggles, meows, barking, snorts, snoring, and croaks. We are in the times of the end.